I went on Birthright during the winter of my sophomore year at Brandeis, traveling through Israel with 40 of my peers, meeting Israelis, seeing the places that until then had been just names in a siddur or a newspaper article. The experience was incredible. I will always remember sitting on the beach at Caesarea singing Halicha LeCaesarea, racing up the Roman ramp at Masada to catch the sunrise, ordering my first falafel in Hebrew. From the moment that I stepped off the plane onto the tarmac at Ben Gurion Airport, I felt connected to something deep and something powerful, to a people and a land and a history. My mother is a Jew by choice, and in our family, Judaism had always been about God and religious ritual. We didn't have a strong sense of what I have since learned to call peoplehood. No one in my family had ever been to Israel, and we really didn't get the whole Israel thing. My experience on Birthright helped me to finally get it. Working on this particular study, just a hop, skip, and a jump from the dorm room where I first applied to Birthright, gave me an opportunity to reflect on the wonderful educational experiences that I've had as a Jewish young adult. I want to thank the generous people who make possible both Birthright and our work at the Cohen Center. You have truly changed my life.
The first time I began to really take this seriously was about 5 years ago when I was thumbing through the local Jewish paper and noticed that 100,000 kids had gone. And I thought, that can't be right, 100,000 kids. And then it turned out that it was true. And I began to think about this, having been very influenced by a book called The Tipping Point, and I asked myself, is this a tipping point moment in Jewish history? In other words, is this much more than a collection of stories, or even much more than anything you can find in a study? Is this something bigger? In other words, having grown up in the 60s and been in college from 64 to 68, I can tell you that a whole generation can tip in 4 years. Everything can change in 4 years. And I began to think that maybe this is what's really happening here. America is a blessing. There are many things that America does super well, gives us security, gives us a way to make a living. There's never been anything better for us outside of Israel than the Golden Medina. But America doesn't give us two things that are extremely important: meaning and purpose in our lives, or a sense of community. For that, we have to depend on ourselves. And this is the ultimate meaning of what Birthright can give our children and grandchildren: a legacy, a sense of purpose. The numbers are extremely important. It's important to have lots of Jews in the world, but lots of Jews are made up of individual Jews who find meaning and purpose in their lives, and that's a lot of what this study has shown us. If we can get half our kids to go on Birthright, you have the spirituality, the yearning, the love, and the sense of peoplehood. If we can get all this to happen, we can change the Jewish future. That is the promise that's in our hands. That's our challenge. And I think that the study is actually crucial proof that we need right now, very, very badly, because it appears to many people that the money is drying up. It appears to many people that it's beginning to look passé. People are looking for the next big thing. Let me tell you something. We ain't finding no other big thing at this level. I mean, we've been doing this for a long, long time. The challenge now is to continue this big thing and then to take that energy and build on it in myriad ways so that the sense of connection that we begin to see here begins to become something lifelong and extraordinarily meaningful. That's the challenge. Hey, we've done great things. We've done great, and every one of those things need to become stronger. But the point is, for about 2/3 of the Jewish future, we had no way of touching them before this thing. Before this thing, we had no strategy, no possibility. This gives us at least the opportunity to open up a dialogue with 2/3 of the Jewish future, and that's an amazing opportunity. Hillel needs to say, for years we found it so difficult to reach less affiliated people, to reach the children of intermarriage. It's so difficult to do that. What are we going to do in an intense, campus by campus way to engage those Birthright returnees in the most intensive way possible? They represent a network that links them to every less affiliated kid on campus. That is the network that we want. We know that we can't just reach traditional kids, which has been most of the strength of many, many Hillels, and we need to do so much better. They need resources to do that. But most importantly, number one, job one is not to leave 20,000 kids on the ground every year. How do we look ourselves in the mirror? How do federations look themselves in the mirror? If their strategy doesn't include some way of assuring that 20,000 kids a year aren't left, those kids aren't coming back. This is our shot to get them. We need to take advantage of this opportunity. Future generations will curse us if we do not take advantage of this opportunity. It's important, and the study gives us the tools that we need to be able to make this case in order to be able to maximize the impact of this program. Beyond that, we need to intensify Hillel strategies in reaching those kids on campus. We need to get as many of them as possible to return to Israel. This is the moment to build a massive program of volunteer service in Israel and throughout the Jewish world to pick up on the energy that those kids have, not just from the trip to Israel, but from the phenomenon that's sweeping America right now. Give them the chance to volunteer and to serve the Jewish people. More funding for arts and culture, more funding for Israel activism. What an opportunity to reinvigorate Jewish studies. What if we went to every single Birthright returnee and said, guess what, you started to learn something about Judaism, we have a course on campus just made for you, and your parents already paid for it, and you get credit for it. And it'll give you a chance to start with what you started with and really continue your Jewish education in an important way. We need more social entrepreneurship, as Lynn has made possible in so many ways on so many campuses. The bottom line is this. If we act now, future generations will remember that at exactly this moment the Jewish community rose to the challenge, and we will be blessed. If not, it's going to be one more example of us failing to make the most of an opportunity, and that would be very sad. So for the American Jewish community, for all my colleagues, for the Jewish future, just 3 words: be a blessing.
Intermarriage is a major challenge to Jewish continuity, and I think we have to engage in all manner of response: outreach, in-reach, birthright, and so forth and so on, in order to respond to this challenge. There ought to be no contradiction between appreciating the depth of the challenge that intermarriage poses to American Jewish continuity — I use those old-fashioned words very seriously — and appropriate policy responses which are welcoming, inclusive, open, and so forth and so on. Every form of Jewish education exerts a long-lasting impact on the chances of Jews marrying Jews, and every form of Jewish social contact, be it Makor, be it the Upper West Side, be it the internet, any form of social connection, even Jews for things we don't believe in, even Jews who criticize what we're doing. If they're coming together as Jews, their chances of marrying other Jews are vastly increased. So this study calls, from a policy point of view, not only for making sure those 20,000 kids and more have a chance to go on birthright trips, which would be the best thing we can do, and it's the best game in town. In fact, it's the only thing we really have on a mass level for that generation. But it calls for multiplying the opportunities for Jewish young people to find each other, to do things together, be it in independent minyanim, be it in social entrepreneurship, be it in Jewish service, which ought not to be instrumentalized but seen as a value in its own, be it in Jewish learning, be it in new media, in the millions and billions of pages on the internet. We are doing better, we can do better, but only if we recognize the urgency of the challenge that is facing us.